Alright, so recently some interesting news broke. I mean, whether it's interesting really depends on who you ask. But yeah, McCLung has agreed to a non-guaranteed one-year deal with the reigning champion Golden State Warriors. And based off what I've seen, that's basically just a chance at a one-year deal. We're just gonna have to compete for a Warriors roster spot at training camp. But anyway, if you know even a little bit about McCLung before he made the NBA, or if you've seen any of his ridiculous mixtapes, you know this is a pretty big deal and a huge opportunity for him. You see, ever since being a high school phenom with crazy highlights and viral mixtapes on Ball is Life, Overtime, and who knows what, Mac's basketball career has been far from smooth, and for a while he was approaching / already in that gray area of alright, now what's next, and getting grouped with those popular Ball is Life stars like Kyrie Walker, Jalen Hands, and all the Jelly Fam guys who sort of lived under the hype they had back in the day. You know, after things like spending 3 years in Division 1 hoops, transferring between schools, going undrafted in 2021, and signing some brief contracts with the Lakers and Bulls, his journey seemed pretty shaky, like where is this really going? But now he's in position to stabilize everything, and even though his deal is non-guaranteed, I believe this is his best opportunity yet. And in this video, we're just going to get into why that is and what he could really provide to a team like the Warriors. But anyway, really quick before I go any further, what's up YouTube? Plug Speaks back with another video. If you're new, first of all, welcome. Go ahead and sub. Also like the video if you enjoy. I upload quality basketball content, working on getting more consistent on this channel, and we're grinding for 5K, so I'd most definitely appreciate it. But back to the video. Now, even though McCLung's time in the league up to this point hasn't been stable, it'd be a lie to act as if he can't hoop on a pro level or as if he doesn't belong in the NBA. The man can hoop. I mean, he played well in the recent Summer League and in the G League of last season. But I'm going to start with the G League. So in the 21-22 NBA G League season, this man averaged 21.6 points, basically 22, you know what I'm saying, 6 rebounds and 7 assists on 46% shooting from the field and 37% shooting from 3. These are some really productive numbers, especially for a point guard in today's game. And it was over a quality sample size of 27 games. Now obviously we can't buy too much into this as if this could easily translate to the league. I mean, the G League and the NBA, they are two different things. It's two different levels, of course. But who's to say this man couldn't come off the bench as a quick scorer in a Lou Williams type of role? You know, they have similar builds, similar abilities, you know, ball handling, shooting ability. I mentioned he shot 37% from 3. That came on 5 attempts, which is about 2 makes per game. Pretty much any team could use a player like this in the modern NBA and the way the game's played, but in the context of this video, a player like this fits exactly, I'm talking about seamlessly, into the Warriors and how they play the game. You know, a lot of ball movement, passing it around, Steph running around, setting screens until they get it to an open guy. And I almost forgot to mention his Summer League stats. The efficiency is even better. He averaged 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists on 45% shooting from the field and 50% from 3 in a sample size of 5 games. So this 3-point shooting is not just some fluke. Like, he can actually shoot the ball, and it says a lot about his work ethic, because man, back in his college days, his 3-point shooting was nowhere near this level. He didn't shoot over 35% in any of his 3 years in D1 hoops. But anyway, that's enough of what he could provide. You know, I'm not making a pitch to the Warriors management, Joe Lacobs, or any of that. He already signed a non-guaranteed deal, or at least agreed to it. Now I want to get into how the Warriors could save his basketball career. And I understand that sounds a little dramatic, but in all reality, it's literally just the truth. Look at how the Warriors make their players look really good when they buy into their roles. Just recently, the members of this championship team, Gary Payton Jr., Juan Toscano-Anderson, Jordan Poole, and even Andrew Wiggins, these are all players whose careers have sort of been transformed just by playing with the Warriors and excelling in their roles. Recently, Gary Payton Jr. signed a deal worth $30 million with the Trailblazers. Last season, he didn't even know his place in the NBA. I mean, all these players' stories, you know, Gary Payton Jr., Juan Toscano-Anderson, Jordan Poole, and Andrew Wiggins, their stories before the Warriors are all inspiring, but Gary Payton Jr.'s story especially is the best in my opinion. I mean, he literally did not know his place in the NBA, you know. People think just because his dad is a legend that he would have it easy, you know, have a shortcut, you know, all the connections, be able to get into the NBA somehow, some way. But no, like, this man grinded. Like, he was trying to be on the Warriors media team just to be close to the actual roster. You know, that's damn near like being a fan. But whole time they finally saw his potential, gave him a contract, and he wound up being one of the key pieces on the championship roster. It doesn't really get better than that. So yeah, I could go more in depth with how they could save his career, but I won't, because it's kind of gonna be recycled. It's gonna sound the same. Basically, these players buy into their role on the Warriors. The Warriors succeed, you know, they do well, they perform well in the playoffs. They don't even really gotta win the championship, but they do well in the playoffs. You know, they get a lot of regular season wins. You know, they're on the national spotlight, so everybody's seeing all this. And then all of a sudden, the stock of these role players grows higher and higher. I mean, Steph is not the only one eating. You know, Draymond, Clay, they're not the only ones eating. The role players are also put in this spotlight. And once the other GMs for all the several other NBA teams see this talent, it's just a wrap. So, you know, hopefully McCLung does make the official roster. Hopefully his NBA career becomes more stable from this point on. And yeah, it's just gonna be really interesting to see how this plays out. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I appreciate y'all watching as always. Let me know what y'all think of McCLung's NBA career up to this point. If you're a Warriors fan, do you want him to make the roster? Why or why not? And that's about it. Appreciate y'all. Like the sub, share it, sub if new again, and I'm out.